Hi, Doug. It's great to see you again. Doug, I have some very good news for you. After reviewing your x-rays and reviewing the results from the series of tests that we did during your exam, I can say with confidence that what you have is treatable with chiropractic care. Go ahead and take a seat. We'll go ahead and get started. Since what you have is a chiropractic problem, I'd like to share a couple of facts with you about what chiropractic is. Okay, it's been around for over 100 years. It's not something that's new. It's not something that's experimental. In fact, we're the second biggest healing profession in the Western world. A study coming out of WebMD that studied 1 million people over several years show that chiropractors had a 95% satisfaction rate with their providers. Now, for being the second biggest healing profession in the Western world, 95%, that's pretty good. All right, Doug, let's talk about why you're here, okay? Let's talk about why you feel the way you do. I'm here to tell you, Doug, it's not one particular thing that led you to where you are today. Okay, it's not one twist, it's not one turn, it's not one improper lifting technique that caused the pain that you have. Think of all the spills and falls you had as a child and as a teenager, all those traumas that have accumulated over time, and you've never done anything to offset it, okay, until today. For example, if you had never brushed your teeth, okay, since childhood, you had never brushed your teeth. Can you imagine the state that your teeth would be in today if you had never taken care of them? Another example would be if you were driving down the road and your tires were misaligned on your car. If you don't put those tires back into alignment, what's going to happen to that tire? You're going to get a blowout, right? Yeah, of course. All right, so what is the cause of all this damage? What is the cause of all this trauma? The cause of this trauma is what is called a subluxation. Okay? Over the years, your spine has been pulled and pushed out of alignment. Okay? It hasn't just happened overnight. Okay? When your spine gets pulled and pushed out of alignment, it puts a lot of pressure on the disc that you have in between the vertebrae, the bones in your spine, and it can irritate the nerve, okay? And when the nerve is irritated, it does not function properly, okay? Take a look, read this here. These are the different problems that can be caused by subluxations throughout your spine and the different ailments that are associated with them. Take time to read this at home tonight. Your brain feeds information through your nervous system. Okay, your brain is situated here. It goes into your spinal cord and branches out into all these nerves in between your bones that you can see here. Okay, and like I said, these nerves control absolutely everything in your body. If this nerve does not function properly, whatever that nerve goes to does not function properly. If your nerves don't function well, your body doesn't function well. These nerves, like I said, control absolutely everything in your body. For example, right now your heart's beating, you're not even thinking about it, right? Right. What would happen if this nerve is one of the nerves that go to your heart? What happens if it couldn't function properly? Would your heart work better or worse? Worse, right? So you see, subluxation can affect much more than pain. Chiropractic care can treat much more than pain. Let's talk about the different phases of the different phases of degeneration. Okay, you have phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. And like many diseases that you're a little bit more familiar with, like cancer, for example, the higher stage, the more severity of impact it has on your health. The same is said with spinal degeneration. The higher the stage, the more severe the impact on your overall health. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to slow down or prevent the progression into other stages. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your x-rays. Looking at x-rays, looking at x-rays, looking at x-rays. Since you can't take these x-rays home with you, Doug, what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle here the stage of degeneration that you are in, okay, in your neck, in your mid-back, and in your low back. And feel free to share this with your significant other, your spouse, or any other family members, okay? So I think we've spent a lot of time talking about why you're here, talking about what brought you into the office. Does all of this make sense to you? All right, let's get to the important part. The reason why you're here, the solution, okay? Remember how I was talking to you about it wasn't one twist, one turn. It isn't one improper lifting technique that led you to feel the way you feel. Okay, this problem did not start yesterday. It didn't happen in a day. The same way that the treatments take more than one day. Okay, it's actually a series of treatments called adjustments that worked on retraining your spine to regain that proper alignment. When we start you in your first initial phase of care, okay, the first stage of care is called pain relief or acute care. Okay, we want to get you out of pain. This phase of care will start you at 3 times a week for the first 3 weeks. Okay, and in that phase of care, what we'll be doing is we'll be retraining the alignment in your spine. Okay, but you know what? Your body's been in that position, your spine has been in that incorrect position for so long that it's accepted that position as correct. So it's kind of like taking 3 steps forward and then 2 steps back, but we have to keep working at getting those segments realigned. After this initial phase of care, you're feeling great. You're no longer in pain. You're thinking, hey, problem solved. I feel great. I feel good. But that's where you're not right. You're incorrect. We have to go through the second phase of care, which is the stabilization phase of care. So after the acute phase, and again, some people take longer, some people heal quicker. Okay, during this first initial phase. If we do heal quicker, what we'll do is we'll do a progress exam to see if you can qualify for or if we can progress you into the second phase of care. Second phase of care is the stabilization phase. You're in a very fragile state, okay? Even though the bones have been realigned, you're still healing. The tissue around those joints, the tissue around those nerves still need to heal, okay? And this is where we work on that healing process. This is where we work to stabilize those joints so that you can continue to enjoy the things you love to do. After this phase of care, which I will see you 2 times a week for the next 3 weeks, we'll do another progress exam. Once you're in that final stage of care, maintenance is where we want everybody to be. Maintenance care, you come in a lot less often. And once we get to that stage of care, we'll talk a little bit more about it, okay? It's important that you stick to your recommended treatment plan. The frequency and the timing of those adjustments are really what are going to give you the best results. So really, Doug, I have 2 responsibilities for you. The first one being to follow your treatment plan, okay, to follow your care plan to a T. Don't miss, because we want to keep moving forward. The second one is to attend our spinal care class or our patient education class. This is a presentation and that I know you'll absolutely love. We're going to teach you different things about your body you probably never knew. It's called How to Stay Young for the First 100 Years. I have your tickets for you here. Please feel free to bring your spouse, your significant other, any family members or friends that you'd love to hear this presentation as well. It's given in our office every Tuesday night at 6. Are you able to make it this Tuesday or next Tuesday? This Tuesday? Great. I will give this information to Michelle up front, and she'll be able to schedule you in for that class, as well as book your appointments out for you. Now, if you don't have any more questions for me, I'm ready to get started. Are you ready to get started?